waste assessment. We've been talking about that for many times in other workshops, and people were so excited in talking about this topic, waste assessment. Not only one party is concerned, there is also another party who is very concerned in this agenda issue. And you know that very well. Can anyone tell me which party? LCoP. LCoP are the ones who are very concerned. And they come and tell us of how will we manage the forest. Through one. Not only in one project. When I was working with PNGFA, I experienced that. I find lots of excuses. How by me answering all their queries when they come and approach me. Mr.Kini, plenty waste here. Even they start from the log pond and go up that way. They don't go to the bush, but they start from the log pond. Some of them they start from the sawmill. Some of them they start from the landings. Some of them they go into the bush. So I was caught right in the middle of things. How to solve that problem. But we came up with procedures of waste assessment procedures. And that is one solution to me to give them an answer. And they get satisfied. And this is how we manage it. True, you can complain of the plenty divide, but this is the process that we apply in determining the waste in the forest. And that gives them satisfactory answer. That they say, you're right, I'm satisfied. You do your job. Someone please put it on while I'm talking. So I'm just assuming that you're also facing the same in the field. And it's very hard to face up with landowners. And we try to hide. I sometimes, honest, when I see them, already I was thinking, like yesterday I told you, there's a problem coming. How will I tackle this problem? And my assumption was correct all the time. Instinct was, this is on the waste. They're not going to talk about anything when they're on a side. They always come and complain about their waste. And sometimes when I get onto the companies to be very quiet, be patient, listen to me, and say, sorry, Mr. Kini, we address it. We try and go to the field offices, make sure there is not much waste out in the field. So we work together as a team, as my topic is today. We conflict management. We work as a team. I don't stand alone. I get the landowners, I get the companies. We go out and train the operators, change the operators. Those operators make sure they do it properly to help me in the monitoring of that operation. Excuse me. All right, to start off on the slide here, you can see that's some of the examples of waste. I think we all know that very well. Any pieces, any timber pieces that they see, it's a sound pieces, not defect. Sound pieces that landowners come across or we come across, we take that as a waste. So classic example is on the this slide here you can see on the screen. The trimming after felling I always say to the change operators, after felling a tree, trimming must be done as minimal as, or minimum or as small as possible. Okay, it should be within 10 centimeters, not more than 10 centimeters, unless there is a split or there is a defect. Then they can go to the extent of the split, or they can go to the extent of the defect. But when tree is falling, it is very sound, there is no defect whatsoever. Trimming should be done at the maximum of 10, not more than 10 centimeters. And if qualified change operator, he can do it. It can be done. It's possible. It can be done. That's my experience. But if not a qualified change operator, they go further more than that. So as a result of that, in practice we say that directional failing, only a qualified change operator, fail a tree as low as possible, it can capture all the tree. The measurable land that we're talking about, it can be taken to the landing. Now, one big area in this regard is the total volume allowed in a setup. Estimate total volume and estimate waste. If they cut anyhow, it will be able to find that there will be more or less, there will be more waste than what is expected. Now, what I'm trying to emphasize here is when they submit their setup plan, they indicate the total volume throughout. You know the total volume, harvest volume is there. And what about the output after harvesting? Where do we get it? Where do we get it? Clearance of the setup. Clear. You can quickly work it out now. It's just a simple mathematics. You can play around with it, and that will give you the result. Total volume harvested, total volume allowed in a setup, and total volume harvested. If you play around with that, then you can come up with a percentage. So then, that will justify what we are looking at on the screen. What about the waste? The amount of waste, the wood waste that we should consider as a waste in the log landings, in the tree felling areas, at the log pond, etc., etc. What is your opinion? Can anyone tell me? The size of the waste. That's what I'm talking about. Is it 50 centimeters, 3.5? Or is it 50 centimeters and 6 meters? How do we classify all those? How we put them into the categories so that we can be able to just justify and say, this is a waste and this is not a waste. What is an abandoned log? What is a trimming waste? If we get to the definitions, then I'm sure that we are very clear on what sort of waste that we are talking about now. Can you? Okay, so the manual was being issued. This manual is issued by the PNGFA authority, the Forest Authority, to its field officers for undertaking post-log and waste assessment in setups where selection logging practice has been used in natural forest. Please can you continue again? So by the end of the workshop, participants should be able to identify what is waste. So by definition, what is a waste? So waste is any sound piece of timber that we're talking about. It should be utilized at the sawmill or at the export site, but have been left in the bush. A sound piece of timber. Recognize roles and responsibilities in minimizing waste, be aware of the consequences of excessive waste, and be able to understand and implement the procedures. But first of all, foremost is please, you must know the definition of a waste. Now, waste in my, the way I've been told is a sound piece of timber that has been left in the bush, or at the sawmill site, or maybe at the export site. We are responsible to monitor those areas as well. Those should be regarded as waste. It can be 50 centimeters and above, or it can be 40 centimeters and above, or it can be 60 centimeters above, according to our requirement. A length should be can be a size. I say that trimming should be 10 centimeters. Should be 10 centimeters, not more than 10. When I was training the change operators, my preaching to them was not more than 10. If you're taking it more than 10, that's not correct. Okay? Just biscuit cut, we call it, but it should be. Then, on the other hand, both ends, this end should be 10, that end should be 10. So we can see the allowable volume that was approved with the setup is captured because there is not much waste here and at the top as well. So all that piece of timber, actionable land that we're talking about, it's taken to the export side or taken to the sawmill side. Unless, I say in the beginning, if there is a defect, split or rot, then they can trim from there. Okay, next one please. Okay, procedures for the waste assessment. Sorry. Go again. Keep going. Next one please. Okay. Yeah, please take. Okay. The purpose of the assessment waste is to determine the actual volume of waste being set up to be used as a basis for calculating penalty payments. What penalty that we're talking about? It's a waste penalty that we're talking about. If we find a company doing excessive waste, cutting lots of excessive waste, or wood, excessive wood, then that is a waste. So that should be taken into account as waste penalty. We should take that together and then build a company to pay for it. Okay?
By definition, the waste is supposed to be part of a law, mentionable law, supposed to be taken out, but left behind. All right. If taken out, royalty is considered in there. Government tax is also in there, and other benefits are also taken in there. When we come back to the penalty, where do we, try to accommodate these different payments under the penalty? And then one thing also is who receives the penalty payment?
Thank you, John, for that question. John's questioning, as he said, penalty, you should receive the payment. Stakeholders. All stakeholders, they should receive the payment. So landowner will receive his, that is the first person, first one that must be considered here. Because royalty, royalty come in, so we pay for penalty to go in. But stakeholders will take it, he will work it out, and then pay it out to respective stakeholders. But my foremost answer is landowners should get the royalty first.
So we are talking about the tax, the government tax?
Yeah.
The royalty, the penalty, the calculation for the penalty is similar to the royalty. When they submit their returns monthly, you calculate all these whatever royalties, levies, whatever else. For the penalty of the waste, you charge direct to the company based on the volume of the waste. Now, you also need to take into consideration all those levies, how much levies per whatever stakeholder. All those will have to go into that same kind of debit note that you issue. But this is separate from the actual monthly returns that you. It's a penalty. It's not the actual volume that has to be. A penalty payment. So you will issue them a separate debit note based on the volume of waste in the setup. But you need to also take into consideration all these levies and others.
Let me,
Okay. Sure.
Okay, basically, that waste assessment was initiated kind of on head of, I would say, on head of, based since it was start, since we started to implement. I think, yeah, so the new so, for waste assessment, what we normally do is you assess it, but we look at the royalty component of it. We don't seriously look on the other losses in terms of the premium payments to the landowner for the shipment if you have to make, or any those areas we should have carried out. We only look at, but it is something that like when you assess the royalty, you take it on as a royalty. You assess waste, you take it on as royalty loss, and then it is just us, the state, and the landowners that is considered here. The loss on our 5% tax. FML, revenue, all out. And I think FML and revenue came in recently. FML came in recently under the the FMA system. So it's kind of not so much taken up. But those are some of these areas we can look at to maximize, returns to the stakeholders that should be benefited out of the waste. But actually, I think the waste itself, it all depends on how we apply the best. It's not on the log landing only. It is from the stoppage to the landing. That's how we manage it. Which means that we have to have the best or license, we might say license, if we have to introduce license there, for the operators to be used. That's felling, skidding, as well as trucking. So felling, you have to have good change operator, they apply the right felling technique. You make the stop, back up, you avoid the full loop. The log goes down, fell into the right spot that you want the log to be felt. You don't get much damage, you reduce. Definitely you will still have waste, regardless of what it's an impact operation. Then you have put on a big impact, and it depends on the type of space as well. Kula ya sa pura na orang bisa big problem. Malah sebenarnya orang ada of course, it will have a speed. Malas long, you know, Kobe different malas larawe. Malas itu long karena larawe. Ini adalah proses manual. Malas long up, you know, Kobe is different. I stop long ground where I stop. Kami pulang, impact long and cushion by. That's right. So that. Kami sama sama mountain and pulang and pointing definitely. So all these basically the best change operator. The type of species that we are dealing with, so obviously you may consider one of them, definitely it will give, just to reduce the amount of waste. Definitely waste will always occur, it will always occur. But it's about the reduction now, and that's what we consider. In some cases you will find out that the pre-logging inventory, the volume will be given by showing of high. The time you become low cost, but you become less. But we have some scenarios where you have the pre-logging, either low or low, and the post-logging you have higher. So the question is why, how? And depend on you and experience with you. Probably the operators that went in, we have a skilled operator. So when they go in and see a tree, they said, because some trees, When they about 60, 65, 70 dB, only got gold finish on the So probably tell me more, he's a skill change over that. I mean, making vertical car. When you do a vertical car, then you quickly you cut him one over, you cut him off, lifeline going. So definitely it will go. It goes and go up. So not vertical cut, original cut. But vertical cut, then you drill. So any looking at the hole. That's not the tree is hollow. So how do you have to cut? So that amounts to the difference in the body. That's the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Sorry, before I ask the question, John's question was penalty payment. Stamp rates payment is royalty. Okay, what measurement has been taken in the bush, the landing, they are for royalty. So whatever waste priority is given to the bush operation, not at the sawmill site, not at the lot, because the understanding here is company argues, I pay for it because royalty being paid. So whatever I do to the log at the sawmill site, at the log farm, it's my business. That's some instances I came across like that. I don't know whether he had that experience. So the waste that we're talking about mostly is in the bush, as alluded by the director, where they fell the tree and where it's just been measured at the log landing. Because that's where royalty has been taken into account. And other levies that we are talking about, they're coming in as well. So my strong feeling when we're talking about this scenario is penalty payment partly should be given to royalty. Because it is part of the royalty that wasted in there. And then another levies are taken into account. After that, the other levies comes in. Tax comes in, and etc., comes in. So when we are conducting a waste assessment, please consider that as royalty is the first, foremost. Then other levies that you can talk about, or other tax that you can talk about. Clear, because that should be measured as royalty from merchantable land that we're talking about. But because of the carelessness of the operator, then that happens. So this is the correction that we are trying to give it to them. If they are not correcting themselves, then we apply penalty. This is the amount of waste that you are doing it through your careless operations. So you are penalized to pay for this. And this is a royalty payment now. Sorry, I have a question.
The procedures is not very clear to us. It is not clear. The landowners assume that the penalty payments should be given to them. In the past, when assessment has been done, the waste calculations is been given to the landowners, because it is not clear on the procedures as to who should be the beneficiary of the waste payments. It is up to us now to decide that if we are going to assess it as royalties and all other levies paid to the state, the other stakeholders as well, we should make it very clear in the waste assessment procedure. On the other hand, I see also that the length of the waste piece and the diameter of the waste piece is not clear on this procedure. For an officer to go out there and assess that waste, he has to firstly know what the diameter of the log is and the minimum length of the piece of log that is to be measured, right? Then you will say, okay, this is waste that I have to measure. You already know that this is the piece that I will measure. Regardless of that 1.3 meter piece, you will say this, I will omit. If you know that you will measure a 3 meter piece of log and a 50 centimeter diameter log that has been trimmed and wasted, you know exactly what to measure. Suppose you know what you measure. Those are the things that have to be clarified in this waste assessment procedure. We need to look again at this procedure. if it means that we will have to review this procedure, we will have to review it and see what course of action should be taken so that who benefits from it. Mr. Geno did mention something about the pre-logging inventory volumes and the harvest volumes. What is the difference between those two volumes? We will assume that that is the waste. But again, they are in those in that area, in that setup, there are volumes that are higher than the pre-inventory volumes that are harvested. Why? We should look very critically into this kind of situation so that we see what we can do best for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Evo, for your comments. Time is running, so please carry on. We'll leave this debate this, as John said, Friday? Friday, please take note. These are the issues that we are talking about. We're going to talk about them again on Friday. I want you to think over them during these 2 days. And Friday, when the topic comes on, I want everybody to contribute. Those people who think that they can contribute into these issues, we do it. In relation to Iowa's comment, I suggest that we should also review these waste assessment procedures.
Okay. Because of time limitations, can we just go straight to identifying what is waste and how to calculate it, how to record it? We'll just go through that. Just to answer Chief Scala's comments there, question.
All right, thank you. Let's carry on because of time, so we carry on. What is waste? Okay, waste are logs or part of trees left in the forest, which if carefully harvested would have been exported or processed in the mill. They include excessive high stumps, excessive trimmings of the logs at the stump end of the log, head end of the log, and damage to logs being split. So those are the sound. Remember, it's a sound volume that we're talking about, not a defect volume. Any sound volume that we come across, then we regard that as waste. Continue, excessive trimmings of logs at the landing, abandoned logs, and forgotten logs. Abandoned logs and forgotten logs. So please identify what is a abandoned log, what is a forgotten log. Okay? Some may argue that, oh, we put in take finish. This is not a abandoned log. I would take, but they left it there, so we regard that as abandoned log. But the company's argument, I came across this, people are putting log, take finish there. It's been mentioned, taken into account. But what is our position now? So we just highlight that here. Please, Friday, when we debate this, I want your opinions, your views, your ideas, so we can make corrections. We talk about the same, or we talk on the same language. We speak the same language. We understand the same understanding. All right, continue, please. Okay, not restrict to observe and measure all waste in the log over setup. Previously, or previous 5% sample strip survey not applicable. All observable waste are measured. Where log over forest after setup had been completed, roadside after decommission of feeder road, log landing after decommission or log landing. So in the first instance, I said there's 3 areas people are focusing on: log landing or in the bush, log landing, and the sawmill side or export side. But in here, it's saying that it's at the roadside, it's at the log landing, and it's also in the felling side. Those are the areas should be given priority in working out waste or looking for waste. Okay, similar to the formula that we apply in calculating the volume of a log. Measure the length of the log, measure the 4 diameters cross section. Use the PNGFA formula, and calculate the volume. 17854 times E square times L. Similar formula we apply to calculate the waste. So very straightforward. For us, because company, they just take it, put it in a computer calculate it for them. For us, we can do it in fact by hand, or we can do the computer to come up with the total volume. Measuring volume wastes, length, that's the example, diameter on both ends, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then have the average diameter. Then use that to calculate the volume of the log end. Next one.
In terms of diameter, you will find sometimes at the log landings, one end of it is inside the
Sorry.
yeah. So just use two diameters. No need to get four. So you don't have to struggle to dig the other side.
Okay, that's at the log landing. Many times they trim and then dozer comes and push them, cover them with the soil. So in that instance, what Simon suggests is you just measure one end only, unless you ask the operator to take it out, right?
Divide by 2, not divide by 4.
Yeah. All right, next please. So that's the example, log length is 12 meters, diameter 55 centimeters. The calculation is very straightforward. Then you come up with the cubic meters now. Okay, next one please. Any questions there? It's okay? There's a question there. Can you ask a question quickly? Sine.
I just want to give a suggestion. Waste, I think it should be categorized in 3 groups. Number 1, there are 3 types of waste produced. One should be the waste that usually being produced for the landings, the cross cuttings, and the trimmings in the setups. That should be categorized as 1. Okay. Number 2 should be from carelessness, looking due to change operators being careless. The process bleeds, and those are carelessness of those operators. All those wastes should be categorized. Number 2 should come under number 2. And number 3, the abandoned lots. And then there should be penalties. Penalties applied to those the second one and the third one. So she will be missing out on the benefits that's caused in every council. And the normal waste produced on the landings and from the setups, from trimmings, we can do a normal penalty, like in the waste assessment from the process. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senior, for the comment. So he's suggesting that 3 areas that waste should be carried out. And one is careless. Well, mostly it's happened because of careless. The operator's carelessness. It happens. Otherwise, if a fail, change operator, I don't think it will happen. Okay, measuring the stamp volume, measure 2 diameters at right angle, measure the excessive height, that more than 30 centimeters. But what in the case of a buttress tree? Okay, you go down a little more where the buttress ends, and you can take 30 centimeters. You don't take it the whole buttress and go up. That is incorrect. Where the buttress ends, and then you start from there. For measuring the stamp, diagram 1, 2, diameter 2, measure as just top end, and then by 2, and then you can take the volume. Okay, next please.
Come back. Okay, we just need to be very clear about waste. This is is a perfect scenario of a perfect tree, yeah? Where the ground level is flat. That's the whole tree. Where do we start measuring here? Okay, the rule says excess waste is where more than 30 centimeters. Okay, let's say the operator cuts the tree about here or up there. You can see that this part is still, you know, you could have still cut it down here. All right. So anything above 30 centimeters is considered waste. Where the ground level and more than 30 centimeters above, you think that you should have cut it down there. That's the excess waste, 30 centimeters. Okay, the other one.
Wait, leave it there. The idea is the sensor trainers who were going around training sensor operators, they advise them, or they used to teach them, train them to fell trees as low as possible at the root side. Okay, I think some of you have seen that. Because when we get the inventory, we take it at DBH, breast side. So as a result of to capture this area, they told them to cut as low as possible. So that's where the diagram is coming up from. So anything about 30 centimeters in the event that tree is very straight, cylindrical shape that go into the ground, then they should cut as low as possible, 30 centimeters. And anything that about 30 centimeters, that should be considered as a waste now. Because some change operators during the training, they've been found that they were pulling the saw up here. Or some of them are building scaffolds. They stand on the scaffolds and they cut the trees. And there was lots of wasting remaining in those stumps. So the way they teach them was to fell them as low as possible. So that after felling the tree, they can now trim about 10 centimeters. So they capture most of the merchantable land that we're talking about. That should be included in as our royalty payment for other levies that we're talking about. And according to pre-post logging and post-harvest logging. Okay, please move. The similar, although diagram differ one to the other, but they is telling us the same story. Okay, that's where the slope is. So if it's slope is more than 25 degrees, or 20 degrees, or 10 degrees, that's how the practice should be. They cut it below 30 centimeters, and then after that they trim it off. So anything about 30 that we come across, we take that as waste. Next one, please. Okay, example something like that. Please, I reckon anyone can recognize the species. Noun. That is a town. It's a vulnerable species, or schema species, as you can see. But the way it changes the fell it is. You look at the person standing there, almost similar height. So that's a lot of waste. So those sort of examples that we're talking about should be taken as waste. Next one, please. Okay, same formula, 2 diameters, over 30 centimeters length, and then use the formula, calculate the volume. So referring back to that picture there, please carry on. Okay, equipments that you should have. A copy of the setup plan, the compass if you have one, tape measure if you have one, copy of log defect manual, waste assessment record sheet, biro pen, and backpack or bag to carry the equipments. Chief Scaler probably will come and further elaborate on this when telling us or talking about discussing the scaling, but those are the equipment that recommended we should have in order to carry out waste assessment. Tape is important, Pyro is important so that we can record. Copy of defect manual, we must understand type of defect, mechanical defect. When they talk about all types of defect, we should also understand hollow core, hard rod, split. Those are the ones that even the director alluded this morning about types of species as well. Some species, when it's failed, after failing, it starts cracking, splitting. Such like malas. Malas is you cannot avoid. So as a result of that, what they do is they put SU to reduce. It's not prevent, reduce the extension of the split. Some species, it takes quite a long time or period before they severance. So be mindful about that. Okay, any more? Well, that is a penalty that we're talking about. If you have come across lots of waste and you have taken them into account, and that is the debit note that we're talking about, should issue to the company so that they can pay for it. The action is if they don't pay, then there is no more setup, or failing will not be suspended, or scaling will be suspended. There's many ways that you can take your action. Not only one, but there's lots of options. So you can make one option where you can make them understand that how tough you are in monitoring their operation. Okay? It's best that you take one action. If they can't respond, then take the next action, and until you come to a lawful direction now. Okay, next please. That's only, I think, giving you an idea on the calculation of, so 1, 2, diameter length, calculate 1.4 to 1.378. So cost is 1 log of 4. So, because they say they specify what sort of defect that we are dealing with. If it's a stamp, you put S. If it's offcuts, you put O. If it's a log, you put L. So that justifies that this is a log that you have assessed, or this is a stamp that you have assessed, or this is a offcuts that you have assessed. So that can specifically tell the people that these are the assessments that you've taken in those respective waste. Okay, next, please. I think this is a tally form that we're talking about. It's a tally form. So when you are doing a tally, those are the way you should do the recordings.
Also, in terms of recordings, you need to separate logs, waste in the bush, landing, and roadsides. You need to separate. That's why the tally sheets there will show you landing in the forest and roadsides. 3 different tally sheets.
Okay, so what Simon is saying is that if you do it in a failing side, you indicate it's in a failing inside the bush. If it's in the landing, on the landing, you do it, it's on the landing. If roadside, you say on the roadside. So 3 specific areas that should be indicated on the tally sheet. Time being, forget about the sawmill, forget about the log pond. I know lots of landowners jumping up and down on the waste. They have seen the log pond, the sawmill side. But our waste now, we focus into the bush before it comes. See, on the landings, or in the landings, and at the roadside, and in the failing side. Next, please. press again. I think slide was designed in a way that, okay. Go ahead. Okay, so that is the summary now. The waste that we have done is a summary now. The log forest volume is there, roadside volume is there, log draining volume is there, so you get them together, they come up with it, 3.5% of the setup volume, then you can come up with the difference. So that difference will indicate whether they exceed the requirement. If they exceed, then you are able to conduct waste assessment. If it is below or within, then it's no need to. So my opinion in here is, when you are doing your daily runs into the forest operation, you can observe if there is lots of waste and take into account. So that will help you when you are doing a setup clearance. You don't need to, because it's a lot of work involved in here. If there is so much waste, it's need manpower to do it. If one man, it will take weeks or even a month to do the waste. So during your daily runs or weekly runs, you just observe. If you encounter lots of waste in roadside, the log landing, you conduct. If not, then no need to. But at the same time, to help you, my advice is, you advise the company. Please, before you close in the setup, you advise them, please, we looking plenty waste, so please minimize. Otherwise, I will show you.
That 3.5% part of the setup volume is something we need to review, because when you, for instance, there's a huge slope left, and we want to check whether that's within that 3.5% level. It might not make up for that. But to a landowner, it's already a waste.
Okay.
And you can't explain that to a landowner. So you need to review all this so that in the view of a officer, if he or she thinks it's a waste, then should count that as a waste. That 3.5% completes or what else, so we will discuss further on that on Friday. So also the other side take record of that. We will have
All right.
discussion on Friday.
Friday. Okay, John, please help me in this. This question is very important. Can you have your calculator there? I'll just give you one example, so we work it out. Just work it out. Harvestable volume, allowable volume that was given in a setup is 100 cubic meters. You times in 3.5% now, what is the total amount of 300 and? Okay, so if we, 100 cubic meters, simple mathematics, 100 cubic meters, if you apply 3.5, what is the waste volume in there now? 350 cubic meters, that's what John said. 3.5%. I said,
It won't make up to that.
yes. Yes, then you multiply it by 3. 3.5. So, look, it's 3.5 cubic meters. Clear? Simple mathematics. No. Allowed volume was 100 cubic meters. Example. Allowed volume that they submit the application the allowed volume was 100 cubic meters. This just give you a rough decision where you can either go in or don't go. So U comes in 3.5% that should go in there to cater for the amount of waste that should not be there.
We discuss better on that on Friday. We are going to we'll discuss better on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we leave it for Friday, but I leave it as a homework to you now. You just come up with the volume, and then you cancel 3.5, then you come up with the actual volume, waste volume now. And that you can rule the margin range now, whether you take it or you don't take it. Okay, this is clear. 3 areas that assessment was taken. One is log over forest, log forest volume, log site volume, log landing volume. We get them up, we come up with total is 4.156 cubic meters, 3.5 of setup volume, 3.5 cubic meters. Total waste volume is 0.656 cubic meters. Percentage is only 65%, 0.65%. So that is what we are talking about now. So if it is only 0.65%, you can see it's well below what we are talking about. Okay, next one, please. Friday we talk about it, so that's only grain rules. These are grain rules. I think it's not going to apply now, but that's the diagram of picture of the waste step side. Remain again. Continue. I think continue again. Okay, that is another one. Please continue again. That's another one there. You can see very excessive here. So from here up that way. Next one. Okay, that is a log. The next one. So there's some more, but those are some of the pictures that you can see to reflect back on what is waste that we're talking about in the forest operations. Okay, so we leave it there. Last comment or question by Mr.
Just one topic that is also discussed in waste assessment.
What we can further discuss on Friday is abandoned logs. Abandoned logs may be treated as waste or may not be treated as waste. Let's discuss it further on Friday.